When it's cold outside, who are you holding? Rest in peace to Bobby Womack. Hey, I'm not here to sing, but it is cold outside, and unfortunately, a lot of people are suffering with colds, flus, Omicron, coronavirus, and who knows what else, right? So, when someone is sick, a nice hot soup can bring some relief to the symptoms and bring some comfort to the person that's sick, right? So, with that in mind, I want to share with you today my curried lentil beans with cabbage and chicken soup. Yeah. So now, this soup that the recipe has some heat on it, and don't be afraid, it's not gonna be super hot. It's just enough heat so that when you're bundled up, you can sweat out some of those toxins, right? Yeah, get rid of some of that. Now, this is not a cure, it's not a treatment, right? It's just something to help bring some relief and comfort to someone who's sick that you love, or maybe it's even you, right? So let's get right down to it. Let's make this soup. It's gonna and for vegans and vegetarians, I'm gonna, as we go, you can make this a vegan or a vegetarian recipe as well. Okay, I got your back. I love my vegans and my vegetarians. So here are the ingredients that you will need to make this dish. You see, we got our tablespoon and a half of curry. We got a teaspoon of turmeric. We got a tablespoon of cayenne pepper. We got a tablespoon of garlic minced. We got a tablespoon of fresh ginger minced. A teaspoon of salt. A pinch of black pepper. And I didn't put it in a cup or anything, but a half a teaspoon of Tabasco sauce. Shredded cabbage, I'm going to use a cup and a half of that. And we got our fresh lentil beans. And you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil so you can sweat out your ginger and your garlic. You can add more if you think it's necessary though. We add our liquid to the pot, our water, 5 cups of water as a matter of fact. You wanna have 5 cups of water. I'm sorry I didn't post up a picture of it in the ingredients list, but 5 cups of water. And to add to that, I have chicken flavored base. That's the first one in the little cup right there. And that's what I use to make chicken flavored soup broth. And then for vegans and vegetarians, you see this is called Better Than Bouillon. It's a no chicken base, so it doesn't have any chicken or animal products in it. So that's what you can use if you're a vegan especially. And here we have one of the stars of the show, the chicken. For all those who are not vegan and vegetarians, you want to have your chicken. So we want to use a chicken breast, 2 chicken thighs. They break down real nicely in the soup and they mix in together good. And you want to trim off all the fat. You can leave the skin on if you like. I like the skin on, but you could take the skin off. But definitely trim away all the fat. And before you start to put it into the pot, you want to season it. That's what the teaspoon of salt and a pinch of pepper is for. You want to pre-season this chicken before you start searing it. All right, so you want to have all your ingredients in place. Mise en place. We just added our tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and you want to start out with the pan cold, because if you get it hot, it's going to be too hot and your oil will start smoking early. And you don't want that, and you'll risk burning your garlic and your ginger. Now we're going to add our tablespoon of ginger. Sweat it nicely. Get that sweating, and then tablespoon of garlic, and put it over there with the ginger so that the garlic doesn't burn. I like to keep one of these rubber spatulas so I can kind of swoosh it around in there. So right now we're sweating the ginger and the garlic. You don't have to do for so long. You just want to get the flavor to start to extract. And put on your plastic glove. And get your chicken in there. Now y'all didn't see me do it, but you want to pre-season your chicken before you put it in here. So what I'm doing is the chicken is gonna be cooked like a braise. So this is a braise style where you're gonna sear the chicken first. You're gonna turn your heat up now. You're gonna sear the chicken. Now I left the skin on. I like to leave the skin on, but you can take the skin off if you don't like the skin on your chicken. But definitely trim all the fat off if you possibly can. You don't want no fat on the chicken. So you see how I'm just moving it around so that this way the keeps the garlic moving and the ginger in the bottom. It's going to be seared into the chicken. Now you can use tongs if you want. I got my glove on. I use my hand. I'm a hands-on type of guy. That's me. But you don't have to use the glove. You can use tongs to manipulate the chicken in the pot. In fact, here's an example of it. Here's a pair of tongs right here. And you can manipulate your chicken in the pot like that. Smells good. I smell that ginger. I smell that garlic. And got a little color on there. Turn it over. This technique is called braising, where you sear the meat, and then you're going to put your liquid in and simmer it and break down the meat. Whatever you do, keep moving that garlic around. You don't want it to burn. Burnt garlic is not good. Alright, so we cooked it long enough on that side. We got that flavor seared into the meat. Now we're going to add our water and deglaze. We got our water here, 5 cups. So what's happening now, when you put that water in, what we call deglaze. And that is 5 cups of water. Now you can turn your heat up to high on your pot. Now, if you were doing this vegan or vegetarian, you can sweat the garlic and the ginger, but just don't put the chicken in. You could just go straight to your beans, 1.5 cups. Put those in there. I'm using fresh beans, but if you like, you can use the canned beans. So now you see all that garlic and ginger is mixing in with the chicken. What we're gonna do next, we're just gonna put the rest of our seasonings in. So we have our tablespoon of cayenne pepper. We got that, right? Tablespoon and a half of curry powder. We got our teaspoon of turmeric. We got our teaspoon, or I should say a half a teaspoon of Tabasco sauce. Now we're gonna add our tablespoon of chicken bouillon. So you can use any type of bouillon you want. It doesn't have to be any specific brand. The one I use is it's called chicken flavored base. It's a soup base, but you can get. So now we're gonna let this come to a boil first, and we'll take it from there. All right, so our soup has come to a boil now. You give a little quick stir. Right now, what you want to do is turn the heat down to a low heat so it can simmer. And after you turn it down, you want to cover it. Nice and tight. Get your cover on there and let this bad boy simmer for 40 minutes. All right, at this point, our soup has been simmering for 40 minutes. Now we're gonna put our last ingredient in, which will be, and this is what it looks like at this point. That looks nice, looks good, good color. And at this point, we're gonna put our last ingredient, the cabbage, in. So that's 2. Go ahead and pop that in there. We're gonna let this simmer in the soup for another 10 minutes. Yeah, bet it. All right, so here we are, simmering. Let me see what we got. So now everything is done. You see your cabbage in there, nice. Now what we want to do with the chicken while it's in the pot nice and hot, take those tongues. You have cleaned them off, washed them, sanitized them before you go back in the pot with these tongues. So this is the chicken breast. See how it's just falling apart? That's from all the simmering. We braised it. This is the chicken thighs, the skin. We can literally just pull the meat off the bone. Look how easy that meat is just falling off the bone right into the soup. Now, I like to leave the bone in the soup. It adds for flavor, but if you're giving it to a child or someone who might not be too savvy, don't leave that bone in there. So the same thing, look, I can't even pick the chicken up. It's just falling apart. If that's what you want that chicken to just be falling apart. All the meat just fell all the way away from the bone. Now your cabbage is done. Look at the green on the leaves. It's in there. And that's your soup. So you get you a ladle if you got one. And that's how it looks, right? All that chicken and lentil beans and okay. So here's what it looks like after it's in the bowl. Delicious. Now I just want to say, if you're really not a fan of spice and heat, you can definitely significantly reduce the amount of the cayenne pepper. I would recommend you go with a half a teaspoon, because you got the cayenne pepper and the black pepper. But I personally like it like that, especially if I have a cold or anything like that. So this way it can help me sweat out all the toxins. So try it out and let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.